hiding in Pondicherry for 10 years, escaping from the clutches of the British Empire, inspiring people around the world talking 14 languages, trying to find out whether equality can create wealth, sharing can create wealth, whether we can break down the code of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whether we can see people as human beings, and getting injured to the same person whom you fed, that to an elephant, that has crushed the health, and death followed. Even during the funeral time also, there were hardly 14 people to attend the funeral. In spite of all those struggles, the people who could feel, smell, taste, touch, and see the works left behind, thousands and thousands of poetry, inspiring letters for people to stand and fight against colonialism. He was declared the Maha, means the great soul. Maha Kavi means great poet. Subramanya Bharathi, Mahakavi Subramanya Bharathi, 11th December 1882 in Teyapuram, born, passed away 11th September 1921 in Triplicane in Chennai, said, "He who writes poetry is not a poet. He whose poetry has become his life, and who has made his life his poetry. It is he who is a poet." Mahakavi Subramanya Bharathi was a Tamil writer, poet, journalist, Indian independence activist, social reformer, and polyglot. Popularly known as Mahakavi Bharathi, he was a pioneer of modern Tamil poetry and is considered one of the greatest Tamil literary figures of all time. His numerous works included fiery songs kindling patriotism during the Indian independence movement. He fought for the emancipation of women, against child marriage, stood for reforming Brahminism and religion. He was also in solidarity with Dalits and Muslims. Mahakavi Bharati said, "He who writes poetry is not a poet. Yes. It will be only gibberish, stinking gibberish." That's what when people went from India to Russia, when the Russians gave second, they were shocked to find that Indians' hands were so soft. The yoga Guruji's hands were so soft. They said, "We cannot believe these people. They believe only people who are very strong." Yes. Those who can work very hard. Exactly that's what Mahakavi Bharati was trying to say. He who writes poetry is not a poet. Yes. You can teach yogasana pranayama. You can sit in this chair and give a lecture or an advice only after you have worked hand in hand, glove with the people, worked hard, rubbing shoulders with the Mother Earth. Yes. You feel so strong. Gospel of truth is thy name, it flows. Mahakavi Bharati said, "He who writes poetry is not a poet. He who marries a girl is not a husband. A girl who marries a man is not a wife. He whose poetry has become his life and who has made his life his poetry. Become, who his poetry has become his life. Yes, a husband who has become a way of life for the household. Only those people can enter into a marriage life. Before entering into the marriage life, he should practice 1,000 times before he goes to the stage, goes to sing. He should understand whether he will be able to spend time with his wife and wife with the husband. Whether both can melt together and walk shoulder to shoulder, sweating together, singing together, dancing together, taking baths together, cooking together, hugging and embracing for hours together to become one. The yin and the yang, positive and negative, that is called a couple. Husband and wife is one. Otherwise, he cannot be called a husband. She cannot be called a wife. He whose poetry has become his life and who has made his life his poetry. His life is a family that he is trying to make sure if he can know to love his wife and the wife knows to love the husband, and if they both are together, if a child is born, yes, he knows the house needs rainwater harvesting. They discuss about how to save the water. They know that they have to get up early morning for the Mangala Arati and then welcome that sunrise to do Surya Namaskar together. Early birds catches the best. From there they understand that the land has to be tilled to grow their own organic fruits and vegetables. And when they both understand with so much love, they follow the path of Shakuntala Devi, the greatest mathematician. Every time, every second is a calculation. You measure your body for your height, what weight is needed, your hip size, the chest size, and you live healthy till the last date of your breath. And you will follow the path of no work, no food. You become an example. That family will never sleep without a single laughter. Yes. Every time then they finish a work, they joke and they laugh it up. Their laughter is the greatest medicine, no disease. Their laughter is the greatest wealth, fixed deposit, which brings in non-stop interest. Seeing your passion and your love, others emulate, that becomes a joint family. Stand strong, the family tree. Mahakavi Subramanya Bharathi said, he who writes poetry is not a poet. Yes, that's what I've been fighting. Gibberish these poets have been writing. Subramanya Bharathi understood that the poet should get deeply involved before expressing anything. Poets are very weak. Writers are very weak. Leaders are very weak. And how could you lead this land? He whose poetry has become his life and who has made his life his poetry. Yes, yes, life. That embrace of the trees and the pet animals and the rainwater and the solar and the wind energy. It is he who is a poet.